And no one cared until this poor woman showed up to the billionaire's daughter's party at midnight. In the glittering, sprawling mansion of the city's elite, laughter danced like soft music and champagne flowed like a river. Behind the golden gates of excess, where perfectly sculpted faces glimmered under the chandeliers, every guest was cloaked in expensive fabrics and even pricier jewelry. It was a party no one would ever forget, except for the fact that they didn't care to remember anyone who wasn't part of their exclusive world. That is, until the clock struck 12, and the door swung open to reveal her Anna, the uninvited guest, dressed in nothing but tattered jeans and a faded flannel shirt. As if pulled from another universe, she stood on the threshold, a striking contrast against the opulence around her. But who was she? The whispers rippled through the crowd like gossip-filled waves crashing against the shore. Anna's eyes, wide and filled with both fear and defiance, darted around the extravagant hall. Unfazed, she stepped forward. The glimmer of diamond-studded invitations and tailored suits turned their eyes towards her, yet, for a moment, silence swallowed the room. Did the scent of her worn-out sneakers betray her? Or was it the sudden realization that this poor woman had shaken their gilded lives at midnight? As she ventured deeper into the thrumming heart of the celebration, the laughter faded into an awkward hum. It was as if the very air thickened around her, and whispers of "who does she think she is?" slithered through the crowd. Sharp glances ignited like matches struck in the dark, revealing disdain and curiosity. Yet, Anna held her head high, clutching a crumpled invite she had somehow, through sheer willpower, obtained. "You're not on the guest list." A voice finally called out from the back, sending ripples of discomfort around the room. It was then that something strange happened. A silhouette crept behind Anna, causing her heart to race. Was she being watched? The hairs on the back of her neck stood up, and she turned, locking eyes with a tall figure lurking in the shadows. The man was shrouded in darkness, but there was a glint of mischief in his piercing gaze. Anna's stomach twisted like a roller coaster, a tightness in her chest making it hard to breathe. The crowd shifted, sensing something electric in the air. "Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Anna felt the weight of everyone's gaze, an invisible pressure building like a storm. The mysterious figure spoke, but his voice was drowned out by a sudden burst of laughter from nearby. She glanced back to see the billionaires, icy smirks plastered on their faces, almost like they were waiting for a show to unfold. "Let us see what she'll do next," one whispered mockingly. The tension spiraled, an uncoiling spring ready to snap. Just then, Anna took a breath, her thoughts racing. Who was she really? Why had she come? What secret could she possibly bring that would disrupt this ostentatious display of wealth? And, more mysteriously, what did the man in the shadows want from her? With her heart pounding like a rock band at full volume, Anna prepared to uncover answers. But would the truth shatter the party's fragile facade? Would anyone dare to care? As she stood ready to face her moment, the brightness of the room dulled, dimmed by the murky intentions concealed behind opulent masks. And the clock ticked ominously on. Anna swallowed hard, defiance mixing with dread. She glanced around the room, surveying the lavish decor, the expensive drinks spilling from crystal glasses, and the smirking faces of the elite. Their murmurs buzzed like angry bees, each whisper a tiny dagger aimed straight at her. But she refused to let them break her. "Who are you?" The shadowy figure finally asked, stepping closer, his features coming into sharp focus. The man had a chiseled jaw, dark hair slicked back, and eyes that gleamed with curiosity and something darker, desire perhaps. "Just someone who needed to be here," Anna replied, her voice surprisingly steady. The crowd shifted, interest peaked. "A party crasher, huh?" he said with a sardonic smile. Bold. I like that. Bold or foolish? She shot back, chin raised defiantly. Behind her, she sensed a ripple of disapproval that sent a chill down her spine. The laughter around them came to a halt. Faces twisted into a mixture of amusement and disdain, as if her vulnerability was entertainment, a circus act eliciting jeers. Maybe she's lost. One guest declared, forcing laughter among his peers. Anna clenched her fists, the crumpled invitation a painful reminder of her desperate gamble. She took a step forward, approaching the man who had addressed her. You don't know me, she pressed, but I know something you all don't. Curiosity danced in the darker depths of his expression as the crowd leaned closer, expectant. Had she crossed an unspoken line? What a dramatic claim, he mused, the nonchalance in his tone contrasting with the intensity in his eyes. What do you have to offer? Why are you really here? Anna could feel the anticipation crackling in the air. Every breath, every heartbeat drummed louder as she prepared to unveil her shocking truth. She hadn't just stumbled into this party, she had come with a purpose she could no longer hide. There is something happening in this city, she started, her voice rising above the hushed whispers. Something that connects us all. It's more than money and power. It's about what was taken and who really controls this town. Gasps echoed in the room. Eyes widened, some with fear, others with anger. Her words dangled above the crowd like a shadowy storm cloud thick with rain. What are you talking about? Someone yelled from the back, the question laden with suspicion, but Anna was no longer afraid. Corruption runs deep. While you sip champagne, people are suffering. The atmosphere shifted, a wave of tension crashing into place. The previous mockery had been stripped away, revealing a raw, exposed nerve among the guests. They exchanged rapid glances, uncertainty painting their features. What if she was telling the truth? You think you're brave, but you're just naive, the man challenged, yet there was a subtle tremor in his voice, a hint of apprehension. The crowd was hesitant, the laughter from earlier forgotten. In that moment, Anna spotted a flicker of recognition pass across his face. Unknowing. You don't understand who you're messing with, he said, yet Anna noticed the flicker of something behind his bravado. Genuine concern. Perhaps he knew much more than he let on. As she contemplated her next words, a sudden crash shattered the thick tension. The main chandelier trembled, sending a cascade of shimmering crystals showering down like falling stars. Gasps erupted, panic spread, and someone screamed. Get down! Anna yelled, instinctively throwing her arms over her head. Chaos erupted as guests scrambled, unsure of where to run. But Anna stood rooted, staring wide-eyed, feeling the air grow heavy. What had she unleashed? And why did the man in the shadows look both terrified and exhilarated? As silence fell once more, a haunting realization settled. The clock continued to tick, but now, with every tick, the stakes had risen. Anna was no longer just an unwelcome guest, she was at the center of a storm about to explode, and as the shadows in the room deepened, she had to wonder, had she made the right choice? The room froze, then erupted into chaos. People scrambled, their polished shoes clicking against the marble floor, frantic whispers mingling with shouts as they pushed against one another in a desperate attempt to escape. Despite the frenzy, Anna stood motionless, heart racing, eyes wide as the glowing crystals littered the ground like shattered dreams. What just happened? Someone yelled, clutching a friend's arm in panic. He must have done something. Another voice shouted, anger churning the air. Anna's pulse pounded in her ears, drowning out the hysteria around her. She couldn't shake the feeling that the chandelier's fall was no accident. It was a warning, a prequel to something much more sinister. The man who had confronted her stood apart, the energy emanating from him shifting like the wind, his face a mix of shock and something deeper. Is everyone all right? A woman called out, her voice shrill, cutting through the chaos. Anna tore her gaze from the man and scanned the room. Faces twisted in fear and confusion. The wall of judgment she felt moments ago had crumbled, replaced by rising unease. Her words had struck a chord deeper than she anticipated. She had turned their world upside down. Out! The man's voice sliced through the tension, commanding attention. He pushed forward, hand gripping a guest's shoulder. We need to move. Get to the back exits. Anna's breath caught. What was he hiding? He moved with an air of authority, a stark contrast to those caught in a panic. She followed him, drawn by some inexplicable force, her instinct battling her reason. Anna, we need to get out of here. A familiar voice broke through. It was Tom, her old college friend, his face pale, eyes darting around. Tom! What are you doing here? She gasped, her heart lifting just a little. I was invited. He shot her a look that screamed disbelief. But why are you? Later. She insisted, turning her attention back to the man who was now directing people frantically. He caught her gaze, eyes narrowing. You shouldn't have come, he said, his voice low, draping over her like a shadow. They don't know you. You shouldn't know what you know. What I know. She repeated, dread gnawing at her. You think I'm scared of those people? They're worse than scared. They're dangerous. Before she could respond, a loud crash echoed from above, and the floor seemed to vibrate beneath their feet. Another chandelier clattered, sent shards flying. A wave of screams erupted, washing over them. Anna's instincts flared, she grabbed Tom's wrist. Follow me. They raced toward the back of the room, dodging the shuffling feet and panicked bodies. Someone stumbled, falling, and Anna barely avoided tripping over them. The world outside the ballroom now felt like a distant memory, as if they were losing touch with reality with every breath. They burst through a set of wooden doors, spilling into a dimly lit hallway. The sounds of chaos faded, but not for long. As adrenaline flooded her body, she turned to the man. He was there too, lingering at the threshold, his jaw set tight. What's happening? She demanded, frustration lacing her voice. He hesitated, glancing back toward the chaos. You need to find the truth and leave before it finds you. Do you know who I am? She challenged, arms crossed defiantly. No one here cares, and soon, it won't matter. His eyes looked haunting, warning her. I can't just walk away. But in that moment, the lighting in the hall flickered ominously, shadows growing and shifting like dark fingers ready to pull her back into the fray, and then came a voice from the darkness behind them, cold and mocking. Why do you think you're special? You've stirred a storm you can't contain. Anna swallowed hard, a cold pit settling in her stomach. Who was that? Before she could react, the air thickened, charged with a palpable fear. Something wicked was drawing closer, and all she could think about was how much the stakes had suddenly risen. Run! The man shouted, pulling Tom and Anna further into the darkened hallway and into the unknown they had yet to confront. As they fled, Anna couldn't help but wonder, would they make it out alive, or was this just the beginning of something much worse? They sprinted down the hallway, breathless and disoriented. The dim light flickered menacingly, throwing harsh shadows against the walls. Anna felt her heart hammer against her ribs like a desperate warning, urging her to run faster. What was happening? Everything she knew had turned upside down. Behind them, footsteps echoed heavy, purposeful strides that sent her stomach lurching. We're not alone. Tom gasped, glancing back at the growing darkness. Keep moving. The man shouted, urgency bleeding into his words. They're coming for you. He didn't say why, but the implied threat hung in the air like thick fog. They turned a corner and raced through another set of doors, bursting into a small back room cluttered with half-open boxes and tarps. It smelled damp and stale, a stark contrast to the grandeur of the ballroom they had just escaped. Why are they after me? Anna almost shouted, the fear breaking through her resolve. She felt lost, confused, and infuriated by the lack of answers. Because you're a liability now, the man replied, breathing heavily as he scanned the room, half expecting danger to stumble in behind them. And the longer you stay here, the bigger a target you become. They'll do anything to silence you. What do you mean, liability? Tom interjected, his hands twitching nervously at his sides. What do you even know about her? The man turned sharply, his eyes boring into Tom's. More than you think. She's seen things she shouldn't have. Then, his gaze flickered back to Anna, eyes suddenly softening. Things that can't be explained. Anna's mind raced. What had she seen? Just a few moments ago, life had been normal, a lavish party with champagne and laughter. Now, it felt like she was trapped in a nightmare. What do we do? She breathed, barely able to keep the tremor from her voice. In a minute, we scream for help. The man grinned darkly. It's the only way to shake the anger off our scent. Seriously? Tom's eyes widened. That's your plan? Before the man could respond, the door behind them rattled. Shadows shifted through the glass, shapes pressing against the wood. With each thud, Anna's heart clenched tighter. Get ready. The man hissed as he moved to the side of the door, shoulders squared, that raw energy radiating off him. Wait. Anna's fingers fumbled for Tom's arm. What if they come after us? We can't let them. The hinges creaked ominously, and suddenly the door burst open. A figure stormed in, silhouetted against the dim light, eyes glinting with malice. Found you, the voice purred, dripping with mockery. It was the same voice from the shadows earlier, low and chilling. Did you honestly think you could outrun destiny? Anna's heart dropped. This was the monster behind the curtains, the dark twist to her once ordinary night. The man started towards the intruder, grim determination etched into his features. We'll see about that. Stop. Anna yelled, fear turning to anger, her instincts kicking in. What do you want from us? The intruder laughed, dark and hollow. You have no idea what you've walked into. But don't worry, Anna. Soon, you'll understand just how cruel fate can be. Darkness swept over the room, suffocating the air. Run! The man shouted again, and they surged past the intruder, escaping into the hallway. But as they fled deeper into the shadows, Anna felt a sinking dread. The fight was far from over, it lay ahead, brewing like a storm ready to break. What awaited them further down the corridor? Would they find the truth, or would the truth consume them alive? Each step felt heavier with that uncertainty weighing on her mind. The hallway stretched before them, an endless tunnel of uncertainty and fear. Anna's breath came in ragged gasps, the weight of the unknown crushing down on her. Tom stayed close, matching her pace, eyes darting around them like a trapped animal seeking solace. Where are we going? He asked, desperation tinging his voice. Anywhere but here, the man replied, urgency woven into his tone. He turned abruptly, leading them down another darkened corridor, his shoulders tense and ready for an ambush. Anna's mind raced, trying to piece together the fragments of information swirling like a storm. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were being hunted, each footstep echoing like a countdown. What did I see? What's really going on? She whispered, more to herself than to the others. The man glanced back at her, frustration mingled with concern. You saw more than you're ready to handle. They think you know. But we can't stop now. Who's they? Tom shot back, frustration bubbling over. Why should we trust you? You just dragged us into this chaos. The man paused, his eyes narrowing. You have no idea what's at stake. But right now, you need to trust me. Before they could discuss it further, a sound echoed from behind them, clattering footsteps, heavy and unyielding, gaining speed. Anna's heart raced again. They're coming. We need to go. In a burst of adrenaline, the man broke into a sprint, leading the way. Anna and Tom followed, urgency propelling them forward. They rounded another corner and skidded to a halt in front of a locked door. It loomed like a final barrier. Help me with this, the man urged, throwing his weight against it. At the same time, a cold voice filtered through the darkness behind them, low and mocking. You really thought you could escape that easily? Anna's gaze whipped around to see the lurking shadows coalesce into a familiar figure, one she couldn't quite place at first. Wait, it's you. It's supposed to be a night of celebration, the intruder said, stepping closer, an unsettling smile creeping across his face. I was looking forward to it. But you had to go and mess it up. What do you want? Anna cried, panic twisting in her stomach like a knife. A mere miscalculation, he hissed. But you'll soon find out that every step deeper into this nightmare only entangles you further. The man cursed under his breath, working furiously on the door handle. Hold him off. Do whatever you can. Anna felt a surge of panic followed by a flicker of defiance. You think you can intimidate me? She yelled, gripping a nearby cardboard box and hurling it towards the intruder. It landed with a dull thud, the contents spilling around him. Futile, he said, chuckling darkly. But entertaining. The man's urgent strains continued, metal clanking in protest, as Anna lunged forward, grabbing anything she could find to use as a makeshift weapon. Tom! We need to be ready. Anna shouted, adrenaline giving her strength. She glanced at her friend, who was now picking up a rusted pipe, eyes blazing with determination. Another thud resonated from behind the door. You can't hide forever, Anna. You'll have to face your fate eventually. At that moment, the door finally gave, swinging open to reveal an empty room, light flooding out like a beacon. Without waiting for an invitation, they bolted through, only to realize the room was filled with silence. Where are we? Anna breathed, scanning the space. It was a stark contrast to the darkness of the corridors, a lavish, opulent chamber filled with fine art and shimmering chandeliers. They're looking for you, the man whispered, his expression turning grave. You may have just stumbled into their sanctuary, but it might be just what we need. Or it might be a trap, Tom said, tightening his grip on the pipe. Trust me, the man said one last time, as the shadows flickered behind them, a reminder of the pursuit still at their heels. But before they could muster a plan, laughter echoed from the shadows outside the door, dark and triumphant. Anna felt her pulse quicken, a chill running through her. What did we get ourselves into? With no other choice, they turned to face whatever lay ahead, knowing the storm was only just beginning. What dark truths lingered in this sanctuary? What would they uncover, and at what cost? The rich hues of the opulent room seemed to pulse with an energy of their own, as if the walls had witnessed secrets far worse than the horrors lurking just outside. Anna's heart thundered. What do we do now? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The man's eyes were narrow slits, scanning the lavish chamber for signs of danger. Tom stood by her side, gripped tight on the makeshift weapon. We need a plan. We can't just hide here. The man turned sharply, his lips pressed into a thin line. We can't hide forever, but we need to gather information. This place could be a labyrinth of clues. Let us split up. Anna frowned. Split up? Are you insane? That's how people get lost or worse. We don't have time to argue, the man snapped, glancing over his shoulder. They'll come through that door any second. I'll check the left side, you two go right. Look for anything that can help us. Before Anna could protest, he dashed into the shadows on the far side of the room. She swallowed hard, fear clawing at her throat. We can't just blindly trust him, she said, shaking her head. He saved our lives back there, Tom insisted, glancing at the door before nodding towards the right side. We need to act. They moved quietly, the plush carpet muffling their footsteps. The room was a striking contradiction, beauty entwined with danger. Anna's eyes flitted from lavish paintings to ornate statues, every piece weighed against the growing sense of dread. Do you think this is really a sanctuary? Anna asked, her voice low, trying to quell the storm brewing in her chest. Sanctuary or prison, who knows? Tom replied, peering into a dark corner. But we have to find out before we're trapped. Just then, a glimmer caught Anna's eye. A large wooden cabinet adorned with intricate carvings stood against the wall, its door slightly ajar. She approached, an unease prickling at her skin. Taking a deep breath, she pulled the door open wider. Inside, she found a series of documents, pages of different reports scattered like fallen leaves. Names, dates, and something that looked like blueprints. Her heart raced as she shuffled through the papers, the weight of knowledge pressing down on her. "Tom, you need to see this." He rushed over, glancing anxiously at the door. "Hurry up. We don't have much time." As Tom scanned the pages, his eyes widened. This could be it. We might find out who's behind this. Suddenly, a resounding bang echoed from the door, making them jump. The sound of sinister laughter broke through, sending chills racing down Anna's spine. "Oh, you sweet fools. Thinking you could just walk in here and uncover our secrets?" The cold voice sent icy fingers curling around her heart. Tom whipped around, eyes fierce. "We've got to go. Now." "No!" Anna shouted, clutching the papers. "If this is the key, we can't leave it behind." The door creaked ominously as more laughter poured in, the shadows shifting like specters hungry for revenge. "You're out of time, my dear. It's game over. Take the papers and go." Tom insisted, shoving Anna toward the cabinet, but it was too late. The laughter stopped suddenly. A heavy silence descended around them, coupled with a sense of impending doom. Anna's instincts screamed for her to flee, but a base curiosity rooted her in place. Then came the sound of footsteps crashing toward them, determined, relentless. Just as Anna's pulse quickened, the door flew open, revealing a masked figure, darkness swirling around him like a cloak. "We found you," he said, voice low and sinister, dripping with malice. "And now there's no escape." Anna snapped to Tom, eyes wide with panic. "What do we do? What do we do?" But before Tom could respond, the figure stepped into the light, revealing a face that made Anna's blood run cold. She staggered back, her heart sinking. It was someone she never expected to see again. "How did you find me?" she gasped, throat tightening in disbelief. As the realization hit her, the shadows behind him stirred, indicating their nightmare was far from over. "What now?" she whispered to Tom, but he could only stare at the nightmare personified. Before them, just then, a deafening crash sounded from the opposite side of the room. A distraction, a new avenue to flee? Or merely a new threat to face? Darkness was closing in. Anna's breath hitched in her throat, panic flooding her senses. Her heart raced as she struggled to process the figure before her, the face she had thought was lost to her for good. "Evan." She breathed, the name escaping her lips like a prayer. "Quite the reunion, isn't it?" he mocked, stepping into the dim light, the shadows contorting around him. "I've missed you, Anna. But I'm afraid this is no time for pleasantries. Why are you here?" Tom blurted, his grip tightening on the makeshift weapon. "What do you want?" Evan smirked, a glint of malice dancing in his eyes. "Oh, it's not what I want. It's what my employers want, and you've stumbled right into their grasp." Anna felt a chill creep up her spine. "Employers? Who are you working for? Does it matter?" he replied, his voice dripping with condescension. "You're already in over your heads. It's laughable, really. Two naive souls thinking they could unravel this." Before she could respond, the door behind Evan swung open wider, and figures poured into the room, their intentions clear as moonlight on water. They moved with purpose, a pack of wolves ready to hunt. The tension in the air crackled like static, and fear closed in around them, tightening like a vice. "Tom, we have to go." Anna screamed, her heart pounding in a frantic rhythm. She grabbed his arm and pulled, but they were outnumbered and surrounded. Evan stepped back, allowing his allies to form a blockade. "You can't run, Anna. You can't hide. And trust me, you won't want to know what comes next." Defiance ignited in Tom's eyes. You think we're afraid of you? We'll fight. Fighting will only make it worse, Evan said, almost pityingly. And you'll suffer more than you can imagine. The laughter echoed in her mind, taunting her as Anna searched her surroundings for an escape route. Then she spotted a faint glimmer from a window high above, the glass thick with grime but still offering a glimpse of the night sky beyond. Look! She gasped, a flicker of hope igniting within her. The window. Before anyone could react, Anna sprinted towards the wooden cabinet, throwing papers aside in a desperate attempt to climb. The papers fluttered around like frantic butterflies. She could hear Tom calling out to her, but there was no time to waste. Get her! Evan roared, as shadows descended, rushing toward her. Anna launched herself up, her fingers brushing against the edge of the window. Just as she managed to grip the ledge, a heavy hand clenched around her ankle, dragging her back down. Help! She screamed, kicking wildly as Tom lunged forward, trying to pry her free. I won't to let you go that easily. Evan hissed, pulling with all his might as laughter echoed around them. In a desperate surge of adrenaline, Tom swung the makeshift weapon, connecting with Evan's arm. The masked figure stumbled back, a pained expression crossing his face. Run! Tom shouted, and Anna scrambled to her feet. But the group surged forward, and in the chaos, she caught sight of the blueprints slipping from her grasp, fluttering through the air like autumn leaves. Leave the papers! Tom shouted, but Anna's eyes were glued to them, desperate to understand. No! I need them! But then, all was lost as a heavy shadow loomed over her again. Evan's eyes locked onto hers, filled with malevolent triumph. You'll wish you never found them. Just as the darkness swirled to consume them, Tom pulled her back just in time, narrowly escaping a grip meant to seal their fate. Go, now! He yelled, shoving her toward the door. The shadows closed in, threatening to ensnare them both, but Anna felt the fire of determination burning bright within her. They dashed through the kitchen door, heartbeats pounding like drums. The sound echoed after them, a sinister reminder of danger still prowling close behind. But would they really escape? As they skidded through the tightly packed corridor, they could hear the footfalls pursuing, relentless and terrifying. Anna glanced back. Where's the exit? She gasped, fear creeping back in. Just keep moving. Tom called, determined but strained. But as they careened around the corner, a glimmer of light emerged, a door leading to freedom or into a deeper darkness. This time, she felt it, the cold grip of control slipping. What lay beyond would either be salvation or their undoing. Would they plunge into the unknown, or was it too late for second chances? The door flew open, revealing a narrow staircase spiraling upward into darkness, a faint light spilling down from above. Without a second thought, Anna grabbed Tom's arm, urgency pulsing with every heartbeat. We have to go up. Are you crazy? Tom ducked his head, glancing back. The shadows from the hallway were inching closer, whispering promises of despair. What if there's nowhere to go? There has to be. Trust me. Anna urged, her voice tinged with desperation. They rushed up the stairs, the wood creaking beneath their weight. Each step was a gamble. They could hear the murmurs of their pursuers growing louder, more impatient. Over here! She shouted as they reached a landing, spotting a thick wooden door at the end of the hall. The light flickered like a dying star, but it felt like their only option. They sprinted toward it, adrenaline coursing through their veins. Anna shoved the door open. A burst of cold air met them, sweet yet foreboding. The lights from an endless stretch of corridor flickered above. It was a stark contrast to the oppressive grip of darkness behind them. Is this some kind of joke? Tom panted, scanning the empty hallway as panic tightened around them. Where the hell are we? I don't know, but we're safe for now. She panted, glancing back toward the stairs. The footsteps were muffled but urgent, their pursuers relentless. We can figure it out later. They stepped cautiously into the hall, the chill biting at their skin. As they moved, a distant laughter echoed, sharp and chilling, sending shivers down Anna's spine. For a moment, she felt disoriented, like she had walked into another world. Suddenly, a loud crash erupted from the staircase, jolting them into motion. The figures tumbled through the doorway behind them, Evan and his pack, eyes glinting like predators. "There they are!" he shouted, voice booming with authority. "Run!" Tom shouted. They sprinted further down the hallway, racing against time and the chilling realization that they were still very much hunted. Lights flickered overhead, creating a surreal atmosphere, a twisted contrast of adrenaline and fear. Anna's mind raced. "We need to find a way out." She pushed past doors, peeking inside. Suit after suit of armor lined the walls, their blank eyes staring into the void as if judging them. This place felt alive, a labyrinth filled with secrets waiting to be uncovered. Tom's voice broke through, and she turned to see him staring down another corridor. He grit his teeth, his brow furrowed. "What's that?" Ahead, a heavy wooden door stood ajar, a slice of intense light spilling out. "We should check it," Anna urged, though unease settled heavily in her stomach. They tiptoed toward it, acutely aware of the reality that Evan was hot on their heels. As they leaned in, a distinct sound pierced the air, a low, rhythmic pounding, like a heartbeat, echoing from the other side. Fear tightened Anna's chest, constricting her thoughts. "What's on the other side? Do we really want to find out?" Tom whispered, but curiosity tugged at Anna. The door might hide the key to everything. She pushed it open, their hearts racing, the light enveloping them as they stepped through. Inside, a stunning room glistened with opulence. Crystals hung low from the ceiling, golden chandeliers sparkled like stars against midnight. In the center of the room stood a large table filled with papers, blueprints, and mysterious artifacts, all bathed in golden light. But that rhythmic pounding only grew louder. "What is all this?" Anna breathed, her heart now thudding in synchronization with the mysterious beat. Then they dropped their gazes to the far end of the room, where a figure lay unconscious on the floor, bound and gagged. "Who is that?" Tom's voice trembled. "I don't know, but we can't leave them." Anna's resolve hardened as she stepped forward, desperation overriding fear. As she approached, the floor shifted beneath her, a hidden mechanism reacting to her presence. Suddenly, an alarm blared, flashing red lights illuminating everything. "Anna!" Tom yanked her back just as the door slammed shut. Behind them, sealing off their only escape. "Evan," she gasped, realizing their pursuers had reappeared, closing in fast. "What do we do now?" But the shadows had already begun to swirl, and laughter echoed, twisting their reality once more. The walls felt like they were closing in, and Anna braced herself. Could they find a way out as the chaos escalated around them? She could only hope that whoever lay in the room had answers, and wasn't he another part of the trap they had stumbled into? With no way back and barely a moment to think, the choices ahead were perilous. What truth awaited them behind that door, and how deep did the conspiracy go? Would they be able to unravel it in time, or would it consume them whole? The air was thick with tension as the blaring alarm echoed through the opulent room, drowning out the sound of Anna's racing heart. Panic swelled inside her as she felt the weight of their predicament pressing down like a heavy cloak. The door, their only means of escape, had slammed shut, locking them in a nightmarish trap with no immediate answers. "Where are they?" Tom whispered, darting nervous glances around the lavish chamber, where the crystals cast jagged shadows that danced along the walls. Anna pulled her eyes away from the unconscious figure, her mind racing. "They'll be here any second." Just then, a loud metallic clang erupted from behind them, sending a surge of adrenaline through her veins. She turned, only to find a hidden door at the far end of the room swinging open, revealing a dark passage. "We have to move," she insisted, grabbing Tom by the wrist. The hall beyond beckoned, a void cloaked in uncertainty. "Wait. We can't just leave them," Tom protested, his gaze flicked back to the figure. "Look, if we don't get out of here, it won't matter. She could feel the urgency in every syllable, the frantic heartbeat of survival guiding her. They stumbled toward the opening, peering into the shadows just as footsteps echoed from the other side of the closed door. "Go, now," Anna urged, and they plunged into the darkness of the passage, the alarm still screaming in their ears. The narrow corridor was damp and cold, twisting sharply at unanticipated angles. They moved quickly, hearts pounding in sync as the urgent footsteps grew faint behind them. Each stride felt like they were racing against time, the pressure of unseen eyes relentlessly pursuing them. "What if we're going deeper into the trap?" Tom asked, his voice low, tinged with fear. "We'll find a way out. Just trust me," Anna replied, frustration bubbling in her chest. Each second felt like an eternity. The shadows behind them whispered of danger and deceit, unrelenting in their chase. As they pressed forward, the air turned stale, carrying a strange metallic scent that clawed at their instincts. At the end of the corridor, another door loomed, this one unlocked. Anna hesitated, almost instinctively feeling that whatever lay beyond could be as perilous as the pursuit behind them. Tom's voice was quaking. "We can't just walk into it blindly." But there was no time for deliberation. They could hear the muffled shouts of Evan and his gang getting closer. Anna turned the handle and pushed the door open, holding her breath as they stepped through. Inside, they were bathed in bright light, and all around them was chaos. A large room, lined with monitors and futuristic machinery, hummed with activity. People in lab coats scrambled, eyes wide with surprise as they caught sight of Anna and Tom. "What is this place?" Tom breathed, taking in the surreal scene. Before Anna could answer, a voice boomed from the far side of the room. "Stop them." It was Evan, his voice slicing through the pandemonium, eyes filled with rage as he pointed directly at them. The lab abruptly fell silent, a sudden tension tightening the air. A dozen pairs of eyes locked onto the two of them, confusion giving way to aggression. The panic that surged through Anna felt like electricity, sparking her fight-or-flight instinct. "We're not your enemies," Anna shouted, desperation creeping into her voice. "We just need to get out of here." But the crowd was already moving, and Anna's words hung in the air, powerless against the encroaching chaos. Tom's hand tightened around hers as Evan's followers advanced, a tide of hostile faces. "Let us go, Anna," Tom yelled, pulling her toward the back of the room, where a set of heavy steel doors loomed ominously. "There has to be a way out through there. Or that could lead us right into the heart of this madness," Anna countered, glancing over her shoulder as Evan's furious expression reached a fever pitch, but it was already too late. The room erupted into commotion, with Evan's commands ricocheting through the air, punctuated by shouts and the nervous clatter of equipment. As they neared the doors, a figure stepped forward from the frenzy, a sharp-faced man in a lab coat, eyes alight with a manic gleam. "You shouldn't have come here," he hissed, blocking their path. "You have no idea what you're interfering with." With nowhere left to run, Anna felt her heartbeat quicken, a blend of fear and determination swelling within her. "What are you talking about?" she demanded, her voice steadying despite the chaos. But the man just smiled, his expression hauntingly sincere. "Everything you thought you knew is about to change." Anna's mind raced, racing for an escape route, but dread coiled around her gut. What had they truly walked into? And what truths lay just beyond that door waiting to be revealed? As the shifting shadows of the lab surged around them, Anna prepared for whatever was to come. Would they unravel the web of secrets or be ensnared in it forever? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain, they were running out of it. The chaos swirled around Anna and Tom like a storm that refused to settle. Time felt fragile, seconds slipping through their fingers like sand. The shadows loomed larger, the threat more real than ever. The lab smelled of antiseptic and fear, a stark reminder that they were far from safe. "Do you really think you can just waltz in here?" the sharp-faced man taunted, his voice dripping with scorn. "You've no idea who you're dealing with." Anna straightened her spine, summoning a courage that threatened to wane. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice steady despite the unease swirling inside her. We didn't ask for any of this. We just want to leave. The man stepped closer, eyes narrowing as if sizing her up. You think you can run from this? You're in the thick of it now. Behind him, the sound of collective footsteps echoed, Evan's followers advancing with a singular force that made the hairs on her neck stand up. Panic squeezed Anna's lungs, but she couldn't show weakness. Not now. Don't listen to him. Tom shouted, grabbing her hand. We need to push through. Is that a threat? The man said, amusement flickering in his eyes. No, it's a promise. Anna replied, gathering strength that surged like a fire in her chest. You don't control us. With Tom by her side, Anna charged towards the steel doors, adrenaline coursing. She could feel the claustrophobia and dread closing in as they neared their escape. After them. Evan yelled, his voice a rallying cry for the chaos to erupt further. Suddenly a shout crashed through the air, stop. It was the voice she recognized, but its tone held a commanding edge. The man in the lab coat, a puppet master, turned, eyes flickering with hesitation. Wait. We can leverage this, he muttered, appearing to reconsider the tide of unfolding events. What are you talking about? Anna demanded, urgency drowning out her confusion. The archives, he replied, his smirk returning. If you really want to know what is going on, it's right behind that door. Archives? Tom echoed, curiosity edging into his voice, but Anna snorted, shaking her head. Why would we trust you? Because you're running out of choices, he said, gesturing back toward Evan and his gathering force. It's either walk away empty-handed or take the plunge. Tom's hand squeezed hers, both of them caught at a crossroads. Then a thought sparked. Were they truly willing to leave the mystery of this twisted night behind if just to escape? Anna, we can't just turn away, Tom urged, his eyes lit with determination. Let us just see what this is about, she finally relented, the fight-or-flight instinct mingling with intrigue. But stay close. With a nod, they turned and pressed into the adjoining room, the door closing just as the first figures from the lab rushed through the main doors behind them. Inside, the atmosphere shifted drastically. Curved walls lined with screens flickered with images of the city plans, blueprints, and shadowed faces receiving directives, all tangled in a web of greed and corruption. Maps detailing covert movements, corrupted deals, it all painted a picture darker than they could have imagined. Look at this. Tom said, pointing at a flow chart sprawling across a digital monitor. Anna's eyes widened as pieces fell into place, things she hadn't understood before now interconnected. This isn't just a party, it's a power play. Anna breathed. They've been pulling strings all along to manipulate everything. Exactly, the man from the lab said, stepping closer. You're witnessing the gears of their machine. But these people, you can't just challenge them without consequences. What are you going to do? Help us or silence us too? Anna shot back. The man flinched, but a smirk ghosted his lips. This isn't about me. This has become bigger than all of us, and the clock is ticking. The tension in the room thickened, each moment passing like a ticking time bomb ready to detonate. Just then, the flickering screen display erupted with sirens, a panicked voice echoing through the system. Unauthorized personnel detected. Lockdown initiated. Shit. They know we're inside. Tom shouted, urgency lining his voice. Time to make a decision. Are you with me, or against me? The man declared, eyes narrowed in determination. We need the evidence, Anna said, voice resolute. We expose them now, or we risk losing everything. Tom nodded, adrenaline fueling their resolve. Let us do this. With a synchronized movement, Anna and Tom stormed towards the main console, fingers flying as they accessed files and data, piecing the puzzle together. The hidden truths clawed to escape, begging for daylight. As the alarm shrieked, the lab door rattled violently, threat closing in from the other side. The man from the lab hastily provided backup as Anna and Tom worked feverishly, minds ablaze with urgency. Almost there. Anna shouted, adrenaline pushing her forward. Suddenly, shadows filled the doorway. Evan emerged, led by a team of unmasked enforcers, rage emanating from every pore. Are you really this foolish? Evan growled, eyes blazing with fury. You'll regret this. No, we'll make you regret this, Tom shot back, voice steady, defiance flaring like wildfire. As the intruders stormed forward, they were outnumbered. Sweat dripped down Anna's brow, a tumultuous storm brewing inside her. Now. The man instructed. And with a final keystroke, the files surged through the system, lights flickering wildly and screens blaring a desperate warning. The web of lies was exposed, a cascade of revelations flooding the city, setting into motion a plan that would either free them or lock them inside a nightmare forever. With nowhere left to run, Anna felt their collective weight pressing down. Together. She screamed as they surged ahead, a whirlwind of chaos and determination against the force gathering outside, and then, in that defining moment, they pushed forward into the fray, fighting not just for their freedom, but for the truth, the only armor that would protect them in the inevitable battle to come. As they collided with the oncoming tide, a shiver traveled through Anna, not just of fear, but a strange sense of belonging. She understood now, sometimes, it took an uninvited guest and a shared purpose to ignite change. The echoes of laughter faded, replaced by the raw intensity of defiance. This was their stand, their moment. And no matter what lay ahead, Anna refused to let anyone else's indifference drown their fight. Now this is the moment to take action. You need to subscribe now so you won't miss what's next in this riveting saga. Smash that like button now to help boost the algorithm. We can't do this without your support. Flood the comments section with your thoughts and theories about this intense conclusion. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who would love this story. True fans know the importance of backing up what they love.